welcome to episode 2 of Button Mashing. It's the 12th of February. My name is James, and joining me today is Carl. There he is.
Hey.
And we're going to be debating again the week in gaming news. We've highlighted a few things that we thought were quite interesting to talk about. So we're going to be covering Carl was right, and South Park has been delayed. So if you watched episode 1, you'll see that Carl was predicting a delay for South Park, and days later we got confirmation of that. So we're going to have a look into what that means and when we think we might see it. We're going to cover our impressions of the recent For Honor beta. So we've been playing that this week, this weekend even. So we'll let you know what we thought. We're going to talk about Xbox One backwards compatibility and a new game released this week for that. And then finally, we're going to talk about retailers wanting to sell physical copies of discs ahead of release, which was something that came out this week from retailers in America. So we're going to discuss what that means, what the article is all about, and what we think of that. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Carl, I'm going to come to you first, and let's talk about your prediction from last week, which came true within a matter of days. South Park has been delayed.
What was it the next day that he got announced? I can't remember. I think it might have been the next day.
It was certainly a couple of days. It was very, very close. Surprised me.
But yeah, Ubisoft. I'll just read the official thing. During an earnings report today, Ubisoft said that the game is now scheduled to release in its next fiscal year. Ubisoft's fiscal year will run from April the 1st, 2017 until March the 31st, 2018. So that means we're not going to see South Park until at least April, which is just after quarter one, when they said it was going to be the quarter one, wasn't it?
Still could be, as we mentioned in the last episode, could be late by a day. Could all be a big sort of game. And it could be out on the 1st of April. You said April Fool's Day was your prediction.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
It would only just sneak into that period if they got that right. I said it was going to be a summer release with no sort of science behind that at all, just a guess. So I think we were both surprised. Well, not surprised, but surprised at how quickly the announcement came out after you'd raised it on our first episode.
It's almost like that listened.
Yeah. They heard us and thought, Jesus, these two influential guys have just talked about this. We'd better come out and tell everybody.
Yeah.
No, I doubt that's the case.
Yeah, people are wondering what's happening.
I doubt that's the case.
Give the people what they want.
But we've got a 12-month
obviously.
window now, so it's not like they've narrowed it down at all. They've just said next fiscal year. Could be ages away still. It could be Christmas, or beyond.
I'd hope it's quarter two, because I mean, if they said it's not going to be quarter one, then it could possibly be quarter two. So that could obviously still be April.
It's cryptic, and it seems a bit strange to say the next fiscal year. You feel like if they were going to be sort of coming out soon with it, they might have said, as you've just said, then quarter two. They've said
it is a bit weird because it kind of sounds like they might be delaying it by a year. Some people might read that and think, "Oh my god, another year!"
It could be up to a year, though, couldn't it? They're saying next fiscal year. That's not in any way specific. It could be ages away yet. So it's a big one. It's a shame, and there's a lot of people who've been waiting for that. When they showed it at E3, there was a lot of excitement. It makes you wonder why that's been delayed. What's wrong with it? Have they found some game-breaking bugs? Is it not where they want it in terms of balance? Have they had some test games? Testers come in and play it, and they've not enjoyed it, and there's been some interesting feedback. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see, wouldn't it? Maybe it just doesn't play quite how they want it to, or feel quite how they want it to.
It'd be nice if they were open with us and just said, what the delay is. Really, I don't see why they couldn't.
Get that though. I mean, they never do they? They never come out and go,
"No, I know.
Yeah, it's not that good at the moment, so we're going to put it back a year and make it better," because then that would be really damaging to the build-up and the hype for that game.
So the only other thing I could think of was obviously the last season's not long finished. I think it's been a couple of months, I think. And it could be maybe they're adding content to do with that last season, or whether we're going to save that for a third game possibly.
Or are they going to write some sort of crazy episode for the next season where they somehow reference the game heavily and it becomes almost like an advert for the game within an episode or something? I don't know. Maybe they'll do a Civil War episode.
Well, the game had a lot of sort of subtle little bits to obviously the other episodes. There's like things you'd open and there'd be pants from this episode or things from that episode. So they definitely reference one another.
So anyway, we won't dwell on that. Just wanted to say that you were right. Well done. Mini round of applause.
Thank you.
For you. And let's move on then to something we played Not massive amounts. We've not sort of soaked ourselves in the beta, have we? But we've played a few hours. So For Honor, the public beta went live on Friday. We played a few hours on Friday night, and you've played a little bit more over the weekend. I haven't had a chance, unfortunately. But I thought it'd be a good chance to talk about what we thought of it, because we'd said how excited we were for it in episode 1. We obviously got the chance to play it this weekend. It comes out on Tuesday, which is really, really close to the beta. Other than, I would have to assume this game is finished, and that this is purely about testing the server's capacity to manage bandwidth.
Yeah, I think that's normally what they do with public betas, isn't it? It's a bit like when that Steep one came out.
Yeah, I mean, it's
That was
definitely
pretty
it's
all
definitely
done,
testing,
just-
but it just makes you wonder. I mean, obviously, from an impressions perspective, what we've played is what you're likely to get on the 14th of February. You're not going to get a vastly different game. Hopefully, I get the impression anyway. The beta is all about just testing the servers, the matchmaking, and all that sort of stuff, which was probably the only disappointing part of the beta. But you expect that. So first of all, then, what did you think? What were your first impressions after a few hours on the game?
I liked it. I thought it was good. Obviously, I didn't know what the hell I was doing at first, because it's actually. I mean, you look at it and you think, okay, you just kind of, it's a bit like hack and slashy, but it's not in the slightest. You have to be really like focused and stuff, and quite quick to react and stuff. I liked it. I thought it was good. I thought the combat was interesting. The game modes leave a little bit to be desired. I mean, Dominion's good, but then you've got the 1-on-1s and then the 4-on-4s or the 2-on-2s. It's kind of a bit like, well, that can get quite old quite fast. And I'm hoping from what you're saying, from the beta, is hopefully it's going to be more in the actual game. I know there's a single player element to it. If there's not more, then I can't see me picking it up at full price. I'm hoping I'm not going to pick it up at full price at all, really.
Well, there aren't any more game modes multiplayer-wise. That's the full width of the band. That's the full width of games and modes that you talked about. So 1-on-1, 2v2, 4-on-4, and then Dominion. So for anyone who's never played it or hasn't read about it, Dominion is effectively domination. If you're a Call of Duty player, you know, it's a kind of a capture points on the map style gameplay. Where in For Honor's case, you've got flag A, flag B, flag C. Hold them, tickets go up, and then when your tickets are full, it's an execution basically. Your ability to respawn is gone once that 1,000 point marker is reached, which was really cool. I enjoyed it. Dominion's different from 4v4 because you've got all the bots, haven't you? So, as well as the 4 heroes on each team, there's loads of computer-controlled fodder basically that you can just go in and sort of hack around at. Although there were a few occasions when we played it where we jumped in and got roundly battered by them because there was just too many of them. So you have to be a little bit careful.
Yeah, but I think that's when we were just first started playing it, wasn't it? I mean, when I jumped on there Saturday after I'd done a bit more of the tutorial, I was kicking butt, especially on Dominion.
So, I mean, that's another good point. So there's 2 tutorials in the beta that get you going. The first one just shows you the basics of sort of blocking and combat, and I thought the combat itself was quite interesting. You mentioned that it's not hack and slash. There are sort of,
I think if you hack and slash, you'll be dead quite quickly.
there's three buttons, isn't there? 4 buttons? 4 buttons required, or 4 inputs required to make an attack. You've got the lock on. You've got
you can attack without the lock on.
You've got lock on. You've got the directional stance, effectively, haven't you? Your left, right, or up.
Yes.
In terms of where you're going to swing. So there's three inputs, and then you've got your actual input, haven't you? Either right bumper or right trigger, depending on the sort of the weight of the attack you want to go with. And that was really interesting. I thought that worked really well. Took a little bit of getting used to, but then once you got into a battle with a hero and you weren't surrounded by the people, you could have some quite entertaining, quite long-winded battles. You know, there were a few times when I certainly was playing where I was sort of parrying attacks and blocking a lot as someone was going mad at me. Then their stamina bar would run out, and then you go again.
Yeah.
And I found that really interesting.
You go in for the kill. Ironically, if when their stamina ran out, if you just did the guard break, so if you pressed X, or was it on the Xbox? Not X on the Xbox,
square on the PS4,
and it'll be square on the PS4. If their stamina runs out, you throw them to the ground, so you've got like an easy few hits. So yeah, you have to manage it
I
quite a
really
lot.
liked that. I thought that combat side made me feel like there'd be a little bit more to the game than just, as you said, running in and having a go. I don't think it's a game that you could
Yeah.
just be good at because you're good at other types of gameplay. You very much
No,
need to have that skill.
it's not like you could be good at Call of Duty and be good at that. It's
Yeah,
completely
so I
different.
thought that was really interesting, and I think all in all, I really enjoyed the gameplay. The couple of hours we played, as I mentioned, matchmaking pissed me off. That didn't work well. There was a lot of breaking.
Yeah, well,
But
that's the
yeah,
beta,
I
wasn't it? So
suspect the
I think
volume
it's
of
to be
players
expected.
on the beta. I'm going to say it would exceed what they'll have on the first few days, but actually it depends, doesn't it? Because just because it was free and it was open to anyone doesn't mean that it was necessarily
Yeah.
well advertised or well picked up. But they had a lot of numbers on there, I think. The servers seemed to hold up okay. There were a few times when the game would pause for a moment as someone dropped out and you had to re-establish connections, and things like that were a bit annoying.
Yeah.
And we did get kicked out of games a couple of times, and we were playing in a party of 3 and we had troubles, I think it's fair to say.
That I didn't have. I mean, for some of the footage that I gathered, I didn't have any trouble with getting kicked out or any reconnections or anything. It was quite smooth, and I did play for a couple of hours.
Yeah. So for anyone who's watching the footage as we're doing this, if you're watching us on YouTube, you'll see Carl's a few rounds on the beta and some of the things he was doing. So he's just said he was kicking, but you can watch and see if you believe that was true.
I didn't. I
capture that
edited
bit.
it, so all of it wasn't me kicking butt because
Fair enough.
I ain't that egotistical.
Graphics, what did you think? High level topic, what did you think?
Good.
I thought it was good.
Good.
I thought the visuals
Very
are
good.
nice. Certainly the environments you were playing in were pretty cool. The only thing I would say is that there was only 3 maps in the beta. I'm hoping there's more in the full game. I did think they were fairly similar. They didn't feel vastly different.
Yeah. What was it? I think there was like a castle one. There was a bridge one. There was a
Which is the
cathedral.
3, I think that was it, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, I can't remember if there was another one.
There
'Cause I can't remember.
were
I don't think the
different
cathedral
levels
was
for
in
the different
Dominion.
modes. But Dominion had 3 maps. I don't
Yeah.
know what they were. We had a couple of goes and a couple of 4-on-4s, didn't we? And they were slightly different maps again. They were a
Yeah,
bit different.
the brawl. Yeah, the brawls have got 2 different maps. I think there's a cathedral and there's one that's just like a little forest thing. I think that's obviously when there's a 4-on-4. And I think the duels are just based around the maps that are already in there, but you don't run around. You can run around, but it's just one-on-one battle.
I enjoyed it. I thought the graphics were good, and I thought that I'm a little concerned about the limitations on the maps. I hope there's more. One of the things that I wanted to do, actually, Carl, I don't know if you've got the opportunity to pull it up while we're talking, is to have a look at the different versions, because I know if you were going to buy it, there's the standard version and there is a season pass, but I'd like to know what's in that season pass, because if the season pass contains maps and warriors and stuff like that, I'm not sure how I feel about that, because I would want those all to be part of any expansions that just come naturally and for free, because I feel it would be really divisive from the gaming audience. If it's just like digital crap like outfits and things like that, then I'm fine avoiding the season pass altogether, but it would certainly impact my decision to buy, I think.
Yeah. Well, there's a deluxe edition at Game. You get 3 helmet crests, an execution mood effect.
Yeah, I think the looks is usually just digital add-ons, isn't it? But
don't think there has been a season pass
no,
yet.
there is definitely the
from
season
what I
pass. I'll
believe.
have a quick flick. I had a look on Amazon. I'll have a look. While I'm pulling that up, Carl, what did you think of the factions? Because you're a big samurai fan, and obviously that was always going to be an interest for you. But what did you think of that?
Well, I unlocked the samurai guy. That's the hybrid, I think they called him, Orochi, and I pretty much only played him. So, but they all looked really good. And I'd obviously play a lot more with the other factions, because obviously it doesn't matter what faction you choose at the beginning. You can play whoever you want. You can even play them without unlocking them. You just can't customize them. So you could literally play anyone without buying the in-game currency, the people that you want. But yeah, I thought they both very interesting.
Okay, so just to interrupt you there, there were 3 different versions: standard, which is your £42, deluxe, which just seems to come with some extra skins. There's a gold edition, which is a bit like the Division, No surprise, given the developer. So the gold edition comes with the season pass, and he says, "Let me just check." Yeah, and the season pass.
80 quid.
Yeah. Sorry, how much was it? Let me just check. For God's sake, Amazon's website trying to select these things is a pain in the ass. Gold. Okay, so they're not even selling it now. It was $69.99, I think, or 60-ish quid. They're not even selling it now, which is interesting. The season pass. What was in it? It's just a German bit, a bit of text that's really useful. Thanks, Amazon. Let's see what it said. So there's a loose description in the gold edition of what's in that. Let me just check. Okay, the ultimate For Honor experience with the gold edition includes the game and the season pass, giving you access to all the major expansions, as well as additional digital content. The gold edition includes all the digital deluxe pack in game, the game itself, the season pass with all the major expansions and the digital content, the digital deluxe pack with the crests and the execution mood effect, and an exclusive emblem and a boost package. So it doesn't tell you what the season pass is going to be for. Let me see if there's anything else on the net that tells me about this. What do you think of the balance of those factions, Carl? So I know you only use one character, but I kind of dabble with a couple of the big Viking heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they work quite well. Obviously, they all have their strengths and their weaknesses. I wouldn't know that much about them because I only play one character. But I mean, I got killed by pretty much every other character that was in there. So I think it just depends on how well you play and how focused you are in a way.
Okay, so I'm just reading something here about the season pass. So apologies for jumping around a bit. Eurogamer reported a week or so ago that the season pass is going to take a leaf out of Rainbow Six Siege's approach to DLC. So they're going to offer you a slew of free content updates, though the season pass holders will unlock the bonus goodies earlier and without having to put in the grunt work.
Oh, yes, I remember. I think Dave mentioned something about this, didn't he?
So the developer will add 6 new heroes to the third-person brawler, with 2 premiering at the start of each season. Anyone can unlock these new characters by spending the in-game currency known as steel, but season pass holders will get them at the off and a week before anyone else to boot. Additionally, season pass owners will receive 6 elite outfits for the new heroes, an exclusive sunbeam effect for emotes, 3 exclusive emblem outlines, 3 scavenger crates that unlock additional gear, and a 30-day champion status offering an XP boost. Those without a season pass will still get free maps, modes and gear that will be rolled out over the course of 3 seasons, though the season pass owners will receive some of this content earlier than everybody else. So actually, I don't mind that, because I don't want to buy the season pass, and
No, I wouldn't buy the season pass holder for that.
I found with other games I've bought season passes for in the past, Division being one of them. Gears of War did it for a while ago. They promised big, but they in reality didn't deliver that well. And if the game itself doesn't really do that well, and you've stopped playing it by the time the season pass drops, it doesn't normally draw me back in. No. So if they're going to give it all for free, then when the season pass content drops, you can still go and play it. And you can still play the new maps. You can look at what the cost of these new heroes is. And if you've enjoyed the game, you can either spend the money, or if you want to grind it out, you can grind them out. I think that's fair. That makes sense to me. I think that's a good approach. Whereas if you're really into it and you really, really love the game and you don't want to wait and you want to get it all there and then, you can drop the money and you can buy it. That seems fair to me. I actually like that approach. I don't feel like if I was to buy the normal version, I'd be losing out. So I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me too.
So I think all in all, we won't dwell on any more. We already have on For Honor. I think generally we both liked it. I don't think either of us have been swayed to pre-order. I certainly haven't. I have the funds on one side to purchase it if it reviews well, and that will be the driver for me.
Yes.
If it comes out with rave reviews, and people who've had much more time to play it than I have really liked it and sunk hours and hours in and feel there's enough of a gain there, then I'm prepared to go out and buy it. But I don't feel the beta's done enough to make me want to pre-order it right at this point.
No.
But brilliant. Okay. Excellent. So let's move on then, Carl, to one of your additions to the list of talking points this week. Backwards compatibility, and this week specifically GTA 4.
Yep. So we've got a backwards compatibility for GTA 4, which is nearly 10 years old
Makes
now.
me feel proper. Old.
It was released on the 29th of April 2008. Was the first GTA I actually completed. I think I got to the end of GTA 3, but I think it crashed on the PS2, and I think it corrupted my save file, so I couldn't start it all over again. And I didn't want to because it was so long.
I do remember the end of GTA 3. I never got to, but I remember watching you play it, and I think it was it might not have been the very end. It was the sort of fly to the Vegas-esque style casino world, and you had to go and infiltrate this casino or something. It might not have been quite the end, but I seem to have a vague memory of us doing that mission and it looking.
Yeah, I think that was one of the later sort of ones. I think the end of it was the one thing I remember was being on this in the back of this fire truck, and you've got to try and get to the front of it somehow. And it's sort of just careering around the city and stuff. That's my last memory of it, and I'm pretty sure that was towards the end. But yeah, it's a long time ago now.
So GTA 4, you completed. I definitely didn't. GTA 4 was always one of those games, and the same with GTA 5. I put a lot of hours into it, but the single player I did about 2 or 3 hours, and then I'm straight into multiplayer. GTA 4, the single player, my memories are getting the lead character drunk and thinking that was really funny that it blurred the screen and made him more funny. I remember the missions. Was it Ballad of Gay Tony? That was quite cool.
Yeah, that was the DLC that added the multiplayer.
Wasn't there a mission early on in the single player before? I think when you meet Gay Tony and you have to take him out on a date. I seem to remember that.
Yeah, something like that. I can't remember.
And
the other DLC for that was the biker gang.
And then the other memories of that really are sort of messing with the early form of what has become GTA Online, where you could jump in together and play. And I think we kind of created our own little game mode, which then went on to be a formal game mode in GTA 5, funnily enough, which was the steal a car, one person drives away, tries to go point to point while the other person tries to take them out with whatever they want to, which normally required a sort of helicopter armed with rockets. And we used to do point to point on the map, didn't we? I had to try and get from one island, because it was 3 islands joined by bridges, wasn't it, in GTA 4? So to go from one island to the third island without you catching me. I think I might have managed it once. More often than not, I ended up in a fireball.
I think probably once or twice.
But I just remember how exciting that was, just bombing down those freeways in a sports car.
It was good fun.
Watching you rip apart cars in front of me with missiles. That was something I was really excited to see them put in GTA 5. I still feel those missions in GTA 5 are a little short. What I loved was the fact that we could take 20 minutes to try and get from point to point on GTA 4, whereas obviously they have to condense it into a feasible game mode. But it's still fun. I still like it, and it's still probably my favourite.
Oh, we still reenact it in GTA 5 that we've done quite often, haven't we?
GTA 5, I can't think about the amount of hours I've sunk into that doing bugger all. Just love that game. So yeah, GTA 4 is backwards compatible. Like you said, it's nearly 10 years old. I think the backwards compatibility library on Xbox now is pretty fantastic, really. You know,
it is pretty
Red Dead's
good.
on there now. You've got loads of games from EA that are supported. Most of the publishers that are sticking their big games on there now. There's not a great deal of the real big ones that you'd look for that are missing. And it's just it's another reason, if you're looking to buy a console and you haven't yet gone Xbox or PS4, I think, to lean Xbox if you've got an existing library of games. It's a shame they didn't have that at launch. I feel like this. I mean, I'm not a fanboy of either one. I bought Xbox this time round, but then bought PS4. We used to be, you and me both used to be PS2 fanatics, then we went Xbox because of convenience and cost.
I think it came out like a year before the PS3
I think if
as
the
well,
Xbox One had launched with that backwards compatibility, I do wonder if that race would have been different, because if you look at the number of people who jumped ship from Xbox 360 and went to PS4 for their new console because of the gaming focus that the two marketing strategies had differently. I think if I'd have had my Xbox 360 catalogue of games and I was looking to buy a new console and I could have took a chunk of those with me, that might have made that more appealing. And I wonder now, with people who've got Xbox 360s who aren't the people like you and I who jump on these things early, would look at that and go, hey, that's a good investment. I can buy that. I can still play all these games that I've got from my previous console. But I can also buy all these fantastic new ones. I think it's a good deal.
Yeah. Plus, you got the games of gold as well, which add the 360 games. So even if there was something on the 360 that you never played, it's there. Like the Force Unleashed that's coming up. I didn't play that on the
Yeah, you definitely
360.
need to play it. I think you'll like it.
That. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, if you haven't got GTA 4, you'll be able to get it on the store, I guess. If you have got it on disc, you can pop it in and play it, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Our last talking point this week, then, it'll be a short episode, is this news article that came out this week. I picked it up on IGN, but it's been around on other websites as well. Is that retailers have come out this week and they're looking to try and push a system where you could buy physical copies of games ahead of time, up to 2 to 3 weeks before release, in order that you've got them pre-bought to preload effectively. So it's like preloading digitally, but you're sitting there with the disc ready and waiting for its actual launch date. So let me just read a couple of things I picked up from the article, which I thought were quite interesting. So according to this leak, publishers are looking to let customers take home physical copies of games before the release date, having it remain locked until the launch. They've struggled to find much interest, apparently, with the publishing community, which is pleasing. But the positives are cited, or these are hypothetical benefits to both consumers and retailers. The ability to immediately take home a physical disc could boost impulse sales. So I suppose you walk in, you see the pre-order, you think about it, you walk in and you can buy the disc and take it home ready. That's supposed to entice you. Maybe it would.
Yeah.
Allowing retailers to sell physical copies of games before the official launch is effectively similar to digital pre-orders, which would unlock at midnight on a game's release. So they're saying that the pre-orders is the actual impetus for this. The reason being that currently pre-orders require retailers to make a longer event of a game's impending release, and they have to do that in order to avoid the situation of customers cancelling their pre-orders. So the idea is if you take the physical disc home, you can't really cancel it very easily. You've got to take it back, and there could be a whole process required, and that makes it harder. Some of the logistics that were pointed out as being a possible downside of this are the bandwidth, uneven benefits to retailers, and the potential for piracy. So I guess you've got a physical disc in your hand, and you know your way around these things. You could start cracking it, making copies, all that sort of stuff. What do you think? Would you do it?
Potentially. If I seen something in there, maybe if it was a little bit cheaper than normal, I'd pick it up.
Yeah.
I could see the retailers getting behind it because, I mean, sometimes they have these, especially for like Call of Duty and FIFA and things. They go, "Oh, we'll stay up until 12 o'clock, and you can come around and buy it." They won't have to pay the staff to do that anymore because people can just come in and buy it anyway. You won't have people queuing up at 24-hour Tesco's or anything like that to go and buy the game. They've already got it. The piracy thing, I mean, I don't think you'd need this to be a pirate these days. You can just download it all off the internet. So I think that's a bit of a moot point, to be honest. I don't see any difference in doing it. I mean, I don't see any difference in it being download this now to play when it's released as a digital download.
I don't see it harming consumers particularly either. I don't think it's. I don't know if it would bother me. I don't think I'd be. A couple of days before release, I might think about it. I mean, I usually pre-order on the internet. I suppose, and thinking about it, and I'm just kind of going through the thought process in my head now. I do pre-order games so that I have them on the day of release. That guarantee.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I need to have the disc in my house, or whether I can wait till Game or Amazon post it through my door. I'm not sure if I need that. I guess in this modern day now with bandwidth, so the bandwidth question, that probably comes from things like patching, doesn't it? And
yeah,
I suppose the other issue is you'd have to have a connected console, which again, you assume most people do now. If they've got a console, they're probably connected to the internet. If you didn't, how would you activate the game? You couldn't trigger it, could you? So I don't know. It's a strange one for me. I don't really see the point. I don't see that it's necessary. Retailers don't make that much money on first-party sales, do they? They do better off pre-owned. The markup is huge on pre-owned. That's why they encourage it. They don't make much money at all off selling brand new games. So is there really an impetus? Are they going to drive sales? Are they going to make much money off this? Don't know.
I don't think it's a case of making money. It might be a case of saving money. Like I said, not having to pay staff till 12 o'clock for these releases sometimes, maybe.
I suppose you might capture a few people. Like, I guess I'm thinking about myself as an example, and I do buy a lot of stuff off the internet. If they're trying to capture people like you or I, who would normally just pre-order it and wait for it to get to drop through the letterbox. I guess if I could get it 2 to 3 weeks before, there'd be enough opportunity for me to be out and about in your local town to pop into a store and go, oh, I'll buy that. Whereas maybe I wouldn't then digitally, online pre-order it. Maybe I would just walk in and pre-buy it. So I guess they might get a little bit more in sales. It's money straight in their pocket as well. And I guess, like they were saying, they don't have to wait and take that risk that someone might cancel or get a better price somewhere else. That's a possible issue, actually, which I'm just thinking about, is that as the consumer, let's say you go into a game and you pay £50 for it because you impulse buy it.
Yeah.
Then you get home and find that Amazon was selling it for 42 or whatever.
Yeah.
You spent £8 more than you needed to. Do you take that disc back and have the hassle of having to return to the local town wherever your shop is if you don't just work around the corner or whatever, to then have to then pre-order it? Would you don't get the benefit. Amazon do that thing, don't they, where if the price drops even right up to release day, as long as you've pre-ordered, you get that benefit of that price drop. And I've certainly seen that. I had it on my Xbox One S. I pre-ordered that and it dropped, I think, 20 odd quid before it actually came out from the point I'd pre-ordered it. So maybe that's something to think about. But
it's an interesting concept. I don't see a reason why not. I mean, if anything, just to cover a base for the retailers.
And I suppose they're probably aiming for people who are not you or I. I guess birthdays and Christmas is another interesting one. I've actually got a birthday coming up in a few weeks. That typically, as per normal, there's a couple of things I wouldn't mind for my birthday that come out just after. So for Horizon Zero Dawn is out 3 or 4 days after my birthday. If you, as the person buying gifts, could buy that game, wrap it up and hand it to that person, even though it doesn't become active for 4 or 5 days, I suppose it's an easy way to give that physical gift rather than, oh yeah, I'll pre-order it for you and you'll get your birthday present 3 days later.
Yeah, here's the receipt for it.
Maybe that's a benefit. Okay, well, let's not dwell. Let's not go on any more than we need to. We've kept our viewers waiting long enough. Thank you for tuning into this episode. If you have any thoughts or comments on anything we've discussed, if you played the For Honor beta and want to let us know what you thought, please get in touch. You can tweet us at BossBattleNet, or you can email us at bossbattlenetwork@gmail.com. Hopefully you picked this up on one of your podcasting services or via YouTube. If you didn't, or you didn't know it was on the other of those platforms, please check us out there. And keep tuning in, subscribe, leave reviews, let us know what you think, and get in touch if you want to. Thanks very much for your time. Hope to see you on episode 3. Goodbye.
Bye.